And welcome back to the show. I'm Bill Tucker, and I'm joined now by Alex Ryvchin. He is the founder of The Jewish Thinker. He's Director of Public Affairs for the Executive Council of Australian Jewry, and he is the author of a new book, soon to be released, The Anti-Israeli Agenda, Inside the Political War on the Jewish State. Alex, great to have you here. Thanks for being around.
Thanks for having me.
There are an awful lot of things we can talk about. Anti-Semitism was one of the things that was a really big topic on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things that struck me is that maybe we lost the definition of what an anti-Semite was, because the president was accused of being an anti-Semite, but yet he somehow allowed his daughter to date a Jew, marry a Jew, convert to Judaism. It's this war with words, this campaign of disinformation. Is this part of what the problem is and what fuels the anti-Israeli agenda, or what's happening here?
Well, look, with President Trump, I think that there was a very clear attempt to associate him with anything that's despicable, anything that's undesirable, and anti-Semitism was one of those things. And as you pointed out, he has a very close connection to the Jewish community, even through his own family. His remarks just a couple of days ago on Holocaust Remembrance Day were profoundly moving, wonderful words which grasped the enormity of the Holocaust, the uniqueness of the Holocaust. So I think it was a slur that was wholly misplaced, and it's being proven to be incorrect.
Yeah, but what's weird about that is that the left now, which has typically been associated here in America, at least, with the Democratic Party, Democrats and Jews being a member of the Democratic Party, they seem to be abandoning the Jews. While they're hurling the slurs of anti-Semite, they are also backing the agenda that is anti-Israel. They are backing the pro-Palestinian agenda. They have moved further and further away from the American Jewish community. It's a weird paradox.
It's true. It's true. And when you look at the anti-Israel agenda, when you look at the campaign being waged against Israel in the most influential forums in the world, from the United Nations to our campuses, to the trade union movement, to the church, it is largely an agenda driven by the far left. And you cannot be pro-Jewish and be vehemently anti-Israel, deny Israel's legitimacy as a state, and actively work to undermine its legitimacy and to see it eradicated from the family of nations. There's a fundamental inconsistency there.
Well, you know, a lot of criticism is delivered, and I want to get some of your reaction to this, because one of the primary deals is that Israeli is actually a extraordinarily biased state. They don't tolerate Arabs. They don't tolerate Palestinians. This is what we're told. Is that true, or what's your response to that?
It's rubbish that barely needs to be justified, to be honest. Israel is a vibrant democracy. It's the only democracy in the Middle East. It has a very large Arab minority of about 20%. It has Arabs serving in every sector of Israeli society, from the military to its Supreme Court to its parliament. People who go there see Israel for what it is, and that is a pluralistic, open society, democratic place where people of all faiths and nations work together. So again, part of this campaign against Israel, part of this anti-Israel agenda, is to associate the state with everything that is seen as being inherently evil and wrong with this world. We hear concepts like apartheid thrown at Israel, ethnic cleansing, genocide, and it is all part of this campaign to marginalize the state, to isolate it, to drive it apart from the rest of the world, to a point where it can no longer defend its interests or its people.
Why is that? Because when you look at the Middle East, you do not have to be a genius to understand this is a mess.
Yeah.
And for decades upon decades, we've been trying to figure out how to handle it, how to sort it, what to do with it. And really, the only two stable countries in that region are Jordan and Israel.
Yeah.
You would think if Israel aligned with the ideas of democracy and freedom, and having a stable, vibrant economy, we would be like clinging to them like saviors on a raft boat.
Israel is certainly the answer to the Middle East. It is not the problem with the Middle East. As you said, it is the only state that subscribes to liberal democratic values, Western values. It respects the right of women, of gays and lesbians, of ethnic minorities. We see what's happening in the rest of the Middle East. It's utter carnage. Israel is the only state that separates itself from that. But what we have to understand about Israel, what makes it unique also, is that it is the only non-Muslim, sovereign, autonomous political entity in the region. And for that reason, its enemies have always hated it and will always hate it. And it has nothing to do with settlements. It has nothing to do with particular aspects of Israeli policy. Those who hate the state hate it because of what it is, and that's a Jewish state.
Yeah, and it's funny because there are a lot on the left who would be probably shocked to find out that they tolerate, I'm supposing, would be shocked to find out that they tolerate sexual diversity, racial diversity, and they align themselves with a group of people who do not tolerate any of those things. It is a bizarre and disturbing paradox in today's politics.
Well, that's right, and it's kind of testament to the reduction of the political and the public discourse, where you have people picking sides based on ridiculous things. And to some, anyone who shoots at Americans and Israelis is right by them. And they ignore the fact that those groups like Hezbollah and Hamas are belligerent, militant, fascistic, religious supremacist organizations whose whole philosophy is entirely at odds with everything the left is supposed to stand for. You've got people like Judith Butler, an academic at Berkeley, a kind of respected, esteemed figure in the left, saying that Hezbollah and Hamas should be seen as part of the resistance, as part of this leftist alliance. It's just ridiculous, loopy thinking.
No, it is really weird thinking, because I suspect that if Hezbollah and their religious supporters were to take over, she would find herself at great odds, personally and culturally, with that group.
Absolutely. And as someone who is gay, as a woman with ideas who holds an academic position, I don't think she'd last very long in a Hamas or Hezbollah-controlled area.
No, which it's not funny, but I'm laughing because there's an irony there, and I don't wish her. I don't wish her any harm.
But it's an irony that she clearly misses, and it's ridiculous, and it kind of illustrates just how far the left has gone from its true calling, from its true ideals of social democratic values, of liberalism, and just basically, standing on the side of anyone who's seen as being anti-US, anti-Western, and anti-Israel.
What do you think of the president's plan to, he says at some point during his presidency, he's going to declare Jerusalem the capital of Israel? Highly controversial idea, but I'm guessing you probably would give it your full support.
Absolutely. I mean, we've heard presidential candidates on the Republican side for a long time. It's almost a rite of passage to say that they will move the embassy to Jerusalem, and Donald Trump was one of those who said that. But actually recognizing Israel as the capital, a unified Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, that would be a step further.
Why is it so important?
Well, look, for the Jewish people, Jerusalem has been our home, our spiritual home, and the place that we prayed to for 3,000 years. 3,000 years ago, we had a capital in that place in Jerusalem. We're the only nation on earth that reveres it as its most holy place. We're the only people who have ever called Jerusalem our capital city.
And it's so funny, too, because, Muslims and Christians have a claim on that city as well, in terms of their religious faith and in terms of religious tradition. I don't know why unified Jerusalem can't be a place that all of us could come together and recognize that tradition and history.
No, you're right. And the most important thing for Jerusalem is freedom of access and freedom of worship for people of all faiths. And only under Israeli authority has that actually been achieved. Prior to Israel unifying the city in 1967, it was under Jordanian occupation. Synagogues and cemeteries and Christian holy sites were utterly trashed. So recognizing Jerusalem as the eternal and indivisible capital of Israel is in the world's interest for freedom of access.
And on that, I'm going to have to cut you off because we're way out of time. Thank you so much, Alex. Good to have you here. Check out his book, The New Anti-Israeli Agenda, Inside the Political War on the Jewish State. Keep it here on Newsmax TV and check us out at Newsmax.com. See ya. The fix is in. Deep state insiders and Obama's appointee Janet Yellen at the Federal Reserve have decided Trump must be stopped. President Trump is about to become the ultimate fall guy for years of financial shenanigans under President Obama and decades of Washington corruption. The radical left wants to reshuffle the deck, and they're willing to put everyone at risk by crashing the economy. Noted economist James Dale Davidson exposes the latest threat to your wealth in his new bestseller, The Breaking Point. Hardworking Americans can save themselves, but they must act now. Get the book Breaking Point. You can protect yourself and profit from the coming crash. To learn more and get your free copy of this critical bestseller, go to breakingpoint711.com or call the 800 number.